Hi everybody! So in response to the questions from last week, I have a few that I selected from my comments section that made a lot of sense to me. If you don't remember the questions, here they are right there. What were the Vandenreich doing while Ichigo and his gang were during the 17-month time skip? How did the Vandenreich know Ichigo? How do they know about his existence or his Bankai and what's going on with that? And finally, the location of their palace and where that might be. Now, of course, I got a lot of comments on this, and it's just, I picked some that seemed the most interesting to me. They took a little spin on it of what was going on. I don't mean by any means that these are the ones that I liked, that were the best, but just the ones that caught my attention. And I also had to limit it. You know, I couldn't just, I would love to have posted like all of them, but I know it kind of defeats the purpose of having, kind of a contest thing. Not really a contest, you don't win anything. You get your name in a video if I just put everybody's name up there. But so I decided on 4. That number might vary. Maybe I'll do 5 next time, or maybe more than that. So here are the ones that I personally selected. Sorry if I get your names wrong. Your name is with the comment itself, so hopefully I don't butcher it too bad. The first one is from Serenti-chan. The next one, Dark Josh 13, Billy the Afro Man, and finally Ulu versus Rukia. Now I read that one, the comment of that name, and I'm trying to decide Ulu versus Rukia, and I was trying to think, do they mean? Are they trying to say Ukiora, or that's what the Ulu stands for, or is that just another character that I'm just not getting? But I'm definitely getting the versus Rukia. And when I first read it at first glance, I thought it said Ukiora and Rukia, like some kind of like a love couple thing. Because most people that are Ichi Rukia fans like me usually put Orihime with Ukiora, and I always looked at that pairing, and I always looked like, well, aside from the act that Ukiora is dead, he's also depressed as beyond belief, and Orihime is all happy and bubbly, so maybe that's the reason, I don't know. But there's most of the fanfiction centers along Ukiora and Orihime, and then Rukia and Ichigo. That's the general consensus. I mean, of course, that's only if you're an Ichi Rukia fan like me. Why am I talking about this? Oh, right, the note cards. Yeah, the winners of the contest thing that I put up there. Okay, so that's it. The other ones are decoration, I guess. Intro! Everybody, Tekking101 here to review Bleach chapter number 487 entitled Breathe But Blind. Breathe But Blind. Where have I seen that before? Oh, well, it's probably nothing. Anyway, so the chapter starts off in color! Yeah! Haven't got one of those in a while. Why did I choose to do that? I don't know. It felt like it, Gotta keep the energy of the show going. I'm trying to wake myself up right now as I go along, so let's keep going. So, chapter starts off with Ichigo, Urahara, Chad, Orihime, and Pesci and Nell heading through the Garganta. I was mildly surprised by this. Urahara is actually joining them this time. Because, usually when the characters go off and have some crazy adventure, usually he stays behind because I guess him being there would just be too simple. I mean, I know they always come up with some way to say why he can't go. Like, he can't go back into the Soul Society because the Senkaimon won't let him go, even though he designed it, which doesn't make a lot of sense there. And the reason he couldn't go to Huecamundo the first time because he was building what are they called? I forget what they're called in Japanese, but the spirit barrier thing, the Senkaimon pillars. He was busy building that. And of course, he had time in between to build a characterizer watch that turned Kon into, a superhero. He had time in his schedule to fit that in, but he didn't have time to go to Huecamundo for just a little bit. And I always wondered about that when he sent Ichigo and them to Huecamundo. How were they planning on him getting, when were they planning on communicating? So it's like, hey, Urahara, yeah, we're done in Huecamundo. When are you going to open up the Garganta and let us out now? I mean, I don't think Urahara was planning on Manyori just happening to be there and just happening to discover Sialaparo's laboratory and just happening to discover Garganta technology. I think he was just planning to ditch him there. But anyway, moving on to the actual plot, we have them going through, and they mention the whole thing last chapter with Urahara just showing up at his house. And his clever response to this was that he noticed Pesce and now enter the world of the living. That, along with Ichigo fighting Ivan, and with the disturbance in the Soul Society, he figured that, this was probably going to happen eventually. But that really doesn't explain why he was outside Ichigo's house. I mean, was Urahara seriously just sitting in his shop thinking, okay, we have these guys in the Soul Society, Ichigo just fought this weird Arrancar Quincy guy, and Nell and Pesce just showed up. You know what, I should totally just hang out by the front window just to see where this is going to go. That was his mindset. But anyway, then we have Urahara partaking in Shonen Cliché number 25 with Ichigo. Everything is connected to the same thing, and it's no trivial matter. Not at all. I don't know what's stopping him from saying that, oh, everything's connected to the Quincy's. That's all you had to say, man. Everything is connected to the Quincy's. Maybe bring everybody up to speed on this. But no, they had to, they partake Shonen Cliché number 25. Thank you to Snowy Garlic, by the way. They sent me in, I think it's, I want to say it's just she, but whatever. They sent me in an entire list of all my Shonen cliches so I wouldn't forget. So thank you very much, because otherwise I would have forgotten that Shonen cliche number 25 to begin with. So you get an awesome spread of the destroyed Lost Noches as blue fire surrounds it. It's awesome. Lost Noches is completely destroyed, though Ichigo and Ukiura's fight pretty much destroyed the majority of it anyway, so really. Ichigo and company arrive in Hueco Mundo, and of course they're way up in the sky, because nothing says secret entry into a place surrounded by enemy agents than falling from the flipping sky. But of course Orihime protects them with her Santan Keshin. We don't see that, but that's what happens. And they land near the enemy armies, I guess just these random Vandenreich soldiers. And of course they have the typical, hey, I think I heard something over there. Nah, there's nothing but corpses over there. It's probably just your imagination. Hey, really? You sure? Because, I understand we killed a lot of them, but we're literally in the enemy base, surrounded by practically hundreds of Arrancars. You sure there's no one over there? Dude, okay, do you know what our boss would do to us if he saw us over there looking for people that may not exist? He blew up Ivan's head for agreeing with him, for freaking sake. Now get back to work. Yeah, you have a good point. Our boss is a psychopath. Okay, so anyway, then we cut over to Ichigo and Pesce's little back and forth. It's apparently that Pesce's mouth isn't really his mouth. It's a protuberance. I have no idea what that is. I have no idea if that's a translation error, and honestly, I don't really care. So, I like Pesce, but 90% of the scenes he's in are just comic relief. He does have the serious moments, like when he fought Ciao, but mostly it's just there just to, subtract from the plot. But anyway, so they notice all the Arrancar bodies literally littering the area. Orihime walks around noticing they're all dead and massacred. It's almost like, now don't hold me to this, but I think Kubo is trying to compare the Vandenreich to the Nazi party in Germany in the 40s. Not really sure on that, but I think there might be some kind of a connection. So Pesce gives some kind of a semi-explanation what was going on in Hueco Mundo. They used fire made of condensed reishi, and that's how they burned down Lost Noches in the surrounding area, and how the people they abduct will be divided into groups and be, made into their vanguard, like he explained last chapter. Ichigo's response is, of course, even though Don Chaka isn't a member of the people he's going to save, he realizes that these are still people that are being, mistreated by this higher group of evil, so might as well go help them anyway, even though they were my enemy yesterday, pretty much. And so anyway, then we cut over to the camp that the Vandenreich is, I guess the Iacto army is at, and I still don't know if I can pronounce that right, where we meet this guy. This guy is Kurji Opie, and I swear to God, he is a contender for the biggest douche right now compared to the Quincy King, because seriously, this guy might even be worse than the Quincy King in some respect. He makes all the Arrancars stand up in a line while the two hooded figures in the background kind of whisper to each other intently. He states the orders to the captured Arrancar. He states that they're going to have a tournament, and by tournament he means he's going to stab each one of them repeatedly until they get down and lick his feet and announce that they have pledged their allegiance to the Vandenreich. See what I meant? Pretty psychotic dude, right? One random Arrancar comes up and, plainly states the rules. It's like, oh, okay. So if I just kneel down right now and pledge my allegiance to you, then that means that you won't hurt me? Wrong! Yeah. Really, dude. Really, I would say maybe that the mysterious, the random Arrancar that just got killed wasn't waiting, was interrupting him halfway through his speech. But no, part of me wants to say that, Kurji was just saying, okay, here's what you need to do to live, and then he stops, waits for someone to speak up, and then stabs, no! I think he just wanted to stab something, really. I think that's just that thing that turns him on, you know, stabbing people in the chest with a spear. So Kurji goes after the two hooded figures first. They remove their cloaks to reveal themselves to be Lolly and Meoli, and they hold a sword at his head. Now, of course, they don't, you know, do the logical thing like slit his throat, because that would be too simple, right? They gotta hold the sword at his neck and then announce who they are, and then wait for Kurji to destroy their sword, cut them down, and then bludgeon Lolly in the face with his spear. That's the logical thing they needed to do there. I just love that. I mean, maybe not Meoli so much, but Lolly is such a hothead, you know. I mean, they wiped out, like, probably a lot of the wrong cars at this point. Lolly's got to be pissed at this guy. Why don't they just cut his neck as soon as they get, that goes back with the, maybe not so much, but this was back when Ichigo was fighting Byakuya, and Ichigo had the prime freaking chance to slit Byakuya's throat right there, and then just end the fight. But he didn't, because, well, that was Ichigo. You know, Ichigo really didn't want to kill him. But, you know, there's no excuse for these two. I mean, these guys basically just turned Huecamundo into police state, killed all these Arrancars, wiped out, you know, their home. There's no excuse why they wouldn't want to hold this guy hostage. Why would you hold the sword to his neck first? Just, like, take the hood off while he's surprised, and then cut his neck. Problem freaking solved! Whatever. So, of course, you know, he defeats Meoli and Lolly pretty quickly. States to himself that he pretty much confirms that Tia Holybell was defeated by the Quincy King. So we have that there, and he turns around really quickly to see a, I forget what they're called. Someone named what they were, but a flying, like, disc thing. It's Apache's bracelet, because Apache's bracelets are like her Zanpakuto. They break out into like razors. That's what gets spun at him. He catches it, and of course then we see Apache, Mila Rose, and Sun standing there announcing, like, what, you better not be, you know, talking bad about Holybell, we'll kill you. And of course, they have their regular banter, you know, like those three are the typical, you know, they're friends, but they also do stuff to piss each other off. So, you know, Apache, Mela Rose, and Sung show up. They're going to fight the Kurji guy. I don't know how that's going to turn out. But apparently they seem pretty strong enough to take down typical Vandenreich soldiers. You know, hazard a guess of where they've been so far. Oh yeah, that's your question. Where have Mila Rose, Sun, and like Apache? Why were they hiding this whole time? Apparently they were strong enough to take out the Vandenreich soldiers. Why were they waiting this long? I mean, I guess you could say they were off doing, you know, maybe freeing other camps. I don't know if there's other camps in Huecamundo or whatever, but that's the end of the chapter. Next chapter, we're probably going to get a fight between Apache, Mila Rose, Sung, and the Vandenreich soldiers. My guess is that they're going to take down most of the Vandenreich soldiers with no problem, but Kurji is probably going to be a difficult, you know, situation there. It makes me wonder if the Vandenreich are capable of absorbing any other power aside from Bankai. You know, why is it just a Bankai? Maybe, why couldn't they absorb Shikai too? Or maybe they can't absorb Resurrection. You know, what's up with that, right? Now, why skip right to the Bankai? So maybe they might have something to go with that. They even stated, you know, I thought that we took all their swords away from them. Because if you remember correctly, an Arrancar's Zanpakuto is completely different from a Shinigami Zanpakuto. The Shinigami Zanpakuto is a separate being altogether. The Arrancar's is part of them. So, you know, it just makes me wonder, like, I stole all their swords. Would stealing the sword be it? I mean, I figured they would always have some kind of, like, telepathic connection with their sword. That's just me guessing. I don't think we've ever seen that in the series, but it's the separate part of their body. You didn't think they could just, like, steal that so easily. But, so that, the Reishi fire kind of hinted to the fact that they are Quincy's at this point, because we saw the bangle on Kurji too, but, I mean, my guess is because they're Quincy's. So, as with the Reishi fire, I figured out, you know, because Quincy's can manipulate Reishi quite well, so that would be why they could create this, like, this substance that can burn it. If nothing else, it'll be a pretty cool attack ability, you know, Reishi fire. That just seems pretty cool. So, next chapter with Ichigo, I'm assuming that Apache's just going to fight the Arrancar in them and defeat the Arrancar, the Vandenreich soldiers, but then they're going to get defeated by Kurji, and maybe another high-ranking Quincy's going to show up, and then Ichigo's going to show up in their company and save Apache and them. So that's my attempt at guessing what's going on. So anyway, thanks for watching. The question is, why did Apache, Mila, Sung take so long to get there? I'm just going with one question this week because, you know, less strain on me. So thank you very much. Have a nice day. Tekking101 signing out.